In this Notan Collage exercise, we will think about the expansion of space. We are going to explore using all of the positive and negative space from one square. The entire square will be used. We will cut shapes at the edges and fold them out like a book. In this video, I'll demonstrate the steps to make a Notan collage. Begin with a 9" by 9" square paper. You can cut 3 inches off of a 9 by 12 paper to get a square. Then use a 3 by 3 inch colorful square or 4 by 4 inch. You'll need pencils, a pair of scissors, and a glue stick. First, mark the corner of the squares so that you know how to put it back into place. Then we're going to draw shapes that begin and end at the edge. Some shapes might have a line of symmetry, like a heart. A heart you can think of as being the same on both sides, like a mirror image. The rule for the shapes is that it should always start on the edge and then end on the edge of the same side of the square. If you have enough room, you can make a small shape inside. We call that a double-lined shape. Those can go inside the largest shapes. Other examples of shapes include geometric shapes. Geometric would mean shapes with straight edges. This one has enough room for a double shape inside. Another example of shapes are organic shapes or curvy. That means that the edges are curved. Later I'll talk to you about how to improve this shape here at the top that I made. It goes a little too close to the edge, and you'll see in the video it was a bit of a struggle. So make sure the shape ends and begins on the same edge. If you don't have enough room for a shape inside, that's fine, just make it a single shape, like the two on the right. Now I'm going to begin cutting out one shape at a time. After the shape is cut, I line the square back up where I originally marked the corners. I like to put the shape in place like a puzzle piece and then put glue on the front. When I put the shape back in place, I want to create a mirror image by flipping it to the other side like a book. Only the little shapes on the outside of the square are glued. I need to leave my big square unglued so that I can keep cutting one shape at a time. Okay, so a lot of the kids at school are asking, Mrs. Conant, what's that pink spot on your wrist? Where's that scar from? Well, I got pretty bad poison ivy in the summer in a couple places on my arm. So if you ever get poison ivy, do not itch it, because if you scratch it, it leaves a scar. Okay, let's see this again. I put the glue on the front, I put it in place, and now I'm going to turn the page like a book. Then I have a mirror image. The shape on the bottom has a double line. First I cut the big shape, then I open it up like a book, and the small part folds back inside the square. So I open it like a book in the opposite direction. That's how we handle the double line shapes. Let's see that again. First I put the shape in place to think about where to open it, and then it flipped downwards to open like a book, and then the little shape above it opened upwards. It's still a mirror image. It's just that there's an extra shape inside. First, put the shape in place. Remember, don't glue it if there's a double line. I almost glued it. But I have to cut out the shape inside the big heart first. After I cut the little shape out, I can glue the big one first. So I'm going to put it in place. I'm going to think about where the little shape goes. The big one is going to fold out to the left, and the little one will fold to the right. I only had the very top edge left to glue, so I glued the remaining square in place. I'd like to explain why the top shape was giving me trouble. I ended up with too many pieces because when I drew it, I did not leave a pencil space. Instead, I drew a line touching up against the side of the square many times, so I ended up with about 6 little shapes. So you want to leave a little space. Another thing that was helpful was using a square that was slightly bigger. This was a 4 by 4 inch square, so anywhere between 3 and 4 inches works well on a 9 by 9 paper. I hope you enjoyed this collage challenge. Happy Notan! And in case you were wondering, that's whose little bark you heard in the background. That's my 10-year-old dog, Charlie. Thanks, Charlie.